Jen Psaki, the White House spokesperson. Guess what? It looks like she won't be spokesperson for much longer. Where's she going? MSNBC. Of course. Of course. Here's a headline from The Guardian. Biden press secretary Jen Psaki to become TV host at MSNBC. So Psaki will reportedly stay on until end of April before joining liberal cable news network. Now, this was originally a story broken by Axios, and they say it's been speculated for weeks that Psaki would leave the White House for a TV gig. White House communication staffers often negotiate TV jobs once they leave an administration. Yeah, and who else does that now? Ex-FBI agents, ex-CIA agents. I like the part, former CIA agent. I don't really think that's a thing. I don't think you're a former CIA agent. You pretty much stay one, except perhaps Ray McGovern and, Jeffrey Sterling. Do you see how this is state media? It's literally state media. They say that, the United States has a fair and free press, which again is absolutely laughable. They're trying to send Julian Assange to prison for 2 centuries. But, they go and basically attack like everything that's like, Chinese or Russian or Iranian state media and act like they don't have that in the West. And yet you have a pipeline between, the intelligence agencies and the green rooms, the newsrooms. You literally have people who learn to lie for a living. And I don't mean the politicians. I'm talking about CIA agents who are coming on MSNBC and as analysts and paid these like amazing salaries just to come on and blurt state propaganda. But apparently that's not state media. That's incredible to me. Can you imagine the bloody outrage? Can you imagine the outrage if I brought on some, some Mukhabarat agent? Mukhabarat is the secret service in Syria. The people would their heads would blow up. They would explode. But, it's totally cool to have, like, this former FBI agent, former CIA agent. Yeah, of course, it's normal. Like, of course, their opinion matters. It's the truth. Wow. you gotta love it, right? So going back to the article, they say that Sackey has been in close consultation with the White House counsel's office about her departure. According to 2 sources familiar with the plans, she's been treading carefully on the ethics and legal aspects of her plans. So no contract has been signed. Government ethics rules have stipulations about how public employees can pursue private sector job opportunities while in office, which is really funny because, government employees, or let's say public servants, that is their second job. They don't work for the people. They work for corporations. I mean, it's so funny. It really is funny seeing that. She's been asked some tough questions, right? Let's take a look.
Well, you can't get rid of me yet, Ed. I have nothing to confirm about my length of public service or planned service or anything about consideration about next plans. I'm very happy to be standing with all of you here today after it felt like a never-ending, endless time in my basement, quarantining away from my family. Believe it or not, I missed you all a lot. And my focus every day continues to be speaking on behalf of the president, answering your questions, as tough as they may be at many times, as difficult as they may be to answer at many times. And I hope that I meet my own bar of treating everybody with fairness and being equitable.
And just because this has been raised by our colleagues, by people who are observing this process, is it ethical for you to continue conducting this job while negotiating with a media outlet?
Well, I have always gone over and above the stringent ethical and legal requirements.
Dude, this is hilarious. Do you see how they're asking her whether it's ethical for her to negotiate a job at MSNBC while she's still at the White House? No. That's not the ethical part. The ethical part is that you have somebody from the White House going on television to do propaganda for the White House. She's basically just going to do the same job, but with better pay. Come on, man. You know this. Like, I don't have to explain this to you guys. And this is common. George Stephanopoulos, he used to work for the Clinton administration. And I love this one because I feel like everybody's forgotten this. You guys know war criminal Karen, right? As I like to call her. War criminal Karen. I'm talking about Nicole Wallace, of course. You all know Nicole Wallace. Look, if you don't know her name, you're going to recognize her face as soon as I show you. This is Nicole Wallace. She's a hit on MSNBC, right? Do you know where she used to work? She was the White House communications director for George Bush. Now, granted, my recollection is that she actually came after they had already invaded Iraq and Afghanistan, but nevertheless, it was the Bush administration. And so now she's like, oh, she's this like totally nice liberal. And it shows you once again how neocons and Democrats, they're like this. There's no difference. They happily, they welcome neoconservatives with open arms, just like her. And then act like nothing happened. And of course, she was basically on television, like advocating for torture. Literally, she was like, so what if we torture people? Like sometimes it's necessary. It just unbelievable. And in any case, they're saying that when it comes to Psaki, so she will host a show for MSNBC and their streaming platform Peacock, right? And Psaki will also be part of live programming on MSNBC's cable network as a voice on different shows, but she will not be hosting the 9 p.m. hour, replacing Rachel Maddow, which has been speculated. Well, thank God for that. Thank God for that. What a tragedy it would have been to lose Rachel Maddow. Oh, I'm so glad she's staying on with us. What would we do without Rachel Maddow? Thank goodness. My goodness. And I want to show you something over here that speaks to my earlier point. It's an article called The Spies Who Came into the TV Studio. It's from Politico. It's from 2018. And again, former CIA Director John Brennan is the latest super spook to be reborn as a TV newsie. I love this sentence. The latest super spook, right? Like super spy. And so he cashed in at NBC News as a quote-unquote senior national security and intelligence analyst. Okay? And again, this is back in 2018, right? And so after that, you also had the director of national intelligence, James Clapper. Do you remember James Clapper? He was in front. He lied to Congress, which is, it's perjury. You can actually go to jail for that. They asked him, is the NSA spying on Americans? And he was like, no, not to my knowledge. He lied. He lied to them. And then, Glenn and Snowden exposed him. And so, yeah, he comes on, former CIA director Michael Hayden in a similar capacity. Right, so this is both on NBC and CNN. And then you have Chuck Rosenberg, former acting DEA administrator, chief of staff for FBI Director James Comey. You know him. Counselor to former FBI Director Mueller, Frank Figliuzzi, former chief of FBI counterintelligence, deputy national security advisor under Bush, Homeland Security advisor under Bush. I mean, this is it's unbelievable, right? Just a few of these guys would already raise concerns, but Blinken, of course, right? At that time, so he had a lesser position. But you get the idea. This is basically state media. I cannot believe that people cannot see this for what it is. And again, they go and ban channels like RT and so on. Dude, RT cannot even compete with this stuff. Like whatever you want to criticize, like CGTN or RT, you call that state media. That cannot even compete with this. And this is state media, because when you have corporations that own the state and own the media, you have corporate state media. Okay, that's what you end up with. So it's the same people that are doing the wars, starting the wars, screwing you out of healthcare, paying you garbage wages, lowering your standard of living, are also selling these wars to you, convincing you why this is okay. I mean, it's a disgusting system. The power that these corporations wield in terms of financial power, but also propaganda power, is unprecedented. Nobody on earth can compete with that. And to say that it's not state media, I mean, this is a joke. Come on. It's nothing to do with just Jen Psaki. She's just a symptom of a larger problem. And it shows the hypocrisy how, everyone else is state media, but not the US and the UK. What a joke. What an utter joke. And I want to play you this. This is from Glenn. He said, one of the best moments in CNN history was when Brian Stelter finally got the opportunity he had been craving, getting to speak with Jen Psaki. And the first question he asked her was how he and CNN could better serve her in the White House.
What might lie ahead? Jen, thanks for coming on Reliable Sources.
My pleasure.
Busy summer ahead, infrastructure, election reform. What does the press get wrong when covering Biden's agenda? When you watch the news, when you read the news, what do you think we get wrong?
Well, look, I think some of our muscles have atrophied a little bit over the last few years, and there isn't a lot of memory, or recent memory, or longer memory on how long it takes to get legislation forward, or how messy the process of negotiating and the process of getting legislation across the finish line can be. So we understand everybody's always looking for a deadline, a timeline, things like that. But at the end of the day, our focus is on getting these bills across the finish line, doing it in a bipartisan way if we can. And we certainly recognize that that can be messy along the process. So I don't know if that's the press getting it wrong. I'll leave you to the critique of that, Brian. But I think sometimes we forget how strange the last 4 years.
Oh God, I will spare you the abuse. I apologize for this, garbage from CNN. Wow. Do you see how he's like groveling? He's like salivating over the opportunity to be more subservient to the administration. Please tell me how I can propagandize better for you. And this is obviously something CNN have wanted. CNN have wanted to, catch Jen Psaki. They obviously failed because now she's going to go perhaps most likely with NBC. But they've both been trying to get her because she's a propagandist. She is literally the spokesperson for the White House, and, she's effective at her job. I mean, perhaps not to you and I, but most people she is. And so getting her in the studio, giving her an even bigger platform, although again, that's arguable. I feel like the White House podium is also its own thing, but she would just basically be doing the exact same job with better pay. That's really what it is. Again, and it's nothing personal. I really, it's nothing personal to Jen Psaki or Brian Stelter. Who knows? They're probably nice people in real life, but they're fucking propagandists, man, for the White House. How can you not see that this is state media? Don't kid yourself. Come on. Don't play yourself like that. Have some respect for the effort that they put in. They're the best at what they do.